The holding cell was not designed for this. Actually, let me rephrase that. The holding cell was designed for this, technically speaking, but nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, expected we would actually need to use it. The reinforced walls, the triple-lock energy barriers, the neural dampeners humming at frequencies that made your teeth ache if you stood too close, all of it was overkill. Expensive, paranoid, bureaucratic overkill. At least, that is what I thought 6 hours ago. My name is Vex, and I am a xenobiologist aboard the survey vessel Luminous Prospect. I have studied 14 different sentient species across 9 star systems. I have degrees, plural, in interstellar biology, and I have published papers that made other scientists question their career choices. I am, without false modesty, very good at what I do. None of that prepared me for him. The human sat on the bench in the center of the holding cell, looking around with what I can only describe as mild interest. Mild interest. Not terror, not rage, not the desperate survival instinct we had been warned about in every single briefing document that came out of the Galactic Council after Earth was discovered. He was tall by our standards, maybe 2 meters, give or take. His skin was that strange pale tan color that some Earth humans have, covered in various places by dark hair that seemed to serve no practical thermal purpose. He wore primitive clothing, torn and stained with substances I did not want to analyze too closely. One of his arms had a makeshift bandage, and there was a cut above his left eye that had stopped bleeding but looked recent. He should have been screaming. Instead, he waved at me. Actually waved. Fingers moving side to side in that bizarre Earth greeting gesture. "Hey there," he said, his voice carrying through the communication panel with unsettling clarity. So, quick question. Where exactly am I?" Captain Threx, standing beside me in the observation room, made a clicking sound that in our language meant something between disbelief and impending panic. She was a Krell, all 4 arms currently crossed in what I recognized as her defensive posture. Her eye stalk swiveled between me and the human. "Is he serious?" she asked. "I believe so, Captain," I replied, watching the human stand up and stretch. The movement was fluid, casual. He rolled his shoulders, and I heard several joints pop, even through the thick reinforced walls. Several of the security officers in the room flinched at the sound. The human walked over to the energy barrier, stopping just short of it. Smart enough not to touch it, I noted. He peered through the flickering blue field, squinting slightly. "Hello?" he called out. "Anyone home? I am not trying to be rude or anything, but I have got places to be." Threx looked at me. "You are the expert, Vex. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do?" We had captured a specimen from Earth, a planet so horrifyingly dangerous that the Galactic Council had designated it a Class 12 Deathworld. Class 12. There were only 3 other planets in the known galaxy with that designation, and we avoided them like they were made of antimatter and bad decisions. Earth was a nightmare. The reports were clear. Gravity so strong it would crush most species into paste. An atmosphere so corrosive it contained free oxygen, which was basically poison. Predators everywhere, diseases, natural disasters, and worst of all, the dominant species had evolved to be persistence hunters. They did not run fast or have natural weapons or possess venom. No, they just kept coming. They walked after their prey until it collapsed from exhaustion, and then they ate it. And now one of them was asking for directions. "Open a communication channel," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "Limited protocol. No physical contact." Threx clicked again, but she nodded to the comm officer. A light above the control panel shifted from red to amber. The human perked up, smiling. Actually smiling. His teeth were visible, flat in the front, sharper in the corners. Her omnivore teeth. Predator teeth disguised as something reasonable. "Oh, hey, there we go," he said, his voice now coming through clearly from the cell speakers. "Thanks for that. Listen, I think there has been some kind of misunderstanding. My shuttle crashed about, 3 days ago, on that moon you guys were surveying." The one with all the purple vegetation and those really angry bird things. The Kilos moon, Threx supplied, her translator working automatically. We were conducting a mineral survey. Right, exactly, the human continued, nodding enthusiastically. Well, my ship had some engine trouble, came out of hyperspace wrong, and boom, crash landing. Not my finest moment, I will admit. But I managed to rig up a distress beacon from the wreckage, and when I saw your survey team, I figured, perfect. I can just hitch a ride to the nearest station and sort everything out. He paused, looking around the cell again. But then your guys kind of, surrounded me with weapons. Put me in this very intimidating box situation. Which is fine, I guess, protocols and all that. But I was really just hoping for maybe a lift, and possibly some food. Those bird things? Not great for eating. Tried it once. Do not recommend. The entire observation room was silent. Even the ship's environmental systems seemed to have quieted down in confusion. Did he, Threx began slowly, just describe crashing on Kilos, surviving for 3 days in an environment that is actively hostile to most carbon-based life forms, and then complain about the local wildlife tasting bad? Yes, Captain, I confirmed. That is exactly what he did. The human, apparently taking our silence as encouragement, kept talking. So, anyway, if you could just point me toward the nearest coalition station, or even just drop me off somewhere with a functional comms array I can call for pickup. I have got insurance for this kind of thing, mostly. The paperwork is going to be absolutely brutal. But that is what I get for buying a third-hand freighter, right? He laughed. The sound was strange, rhythmic, coming from deep in his chest. It was not a threatening sound, exactly, but it made something primitive in my brain want to run away very quickly. He has insurance, one of the security officers, a young prax named Kel, whispered. We're crashing on death moons. What kind of species, Threx said slowly, needs crash insurance as a standard policy? I did not have an answer for that. The human was still talking. I was beginning to suspect that humans talked a lot. I mean, I get it. Strange alien shows up, you do not know if I am dangerous or contagious or whatever. Standard quarantine procedures. Makes total sense. But I promise I am fully vaccinated, all my shots are current, and I have not got any weird space diseases. Probably. Probably? Kel repeated, his voice climbing an octave. He said probably. Threx confirmed, her eye stalks focusing on me with laser intensity. Vex, tell me the decontamination protocols are running. They have been running since we brought him aboard, Captain, I assured her. But according to his own statement, he crash-landed 3 days ago. He has been exposed to Kilos surface conditions. The microbial count alone should have been fatal. Should have been, Threx echoed. But was not. No, Captain, was not. The human had wandered back to the bench and was examining his bandaged arm with a critical expression. He poked at it a few times, winced, then shrugged and left it alone. The gesture was so casual, so utterly unconcerned about what was clearly an injury, that I felt my primary stomach twist. Okay, serious question time, the human said, looking back up at where he probably assumed we were watching from. How long is this going to take? Because I was supposed to make a delivery run to Proxima Station about, 6 days ago, and my client is probably getting a little antsy. Time-sensitive cargo and all that. Nothing illegal, he added quickly, raising his hands. Just, perishables. Well, they were perishable. They are probably super-perished by now, actually. Which means I am not getting paid, which means this whole week has been a complete disaster. He is worried about a delivery, Kel said faintly. Not about being captured by aliens, not a delivery. Humans have priorities that differ from ours, I said, though I was not sure I believed my own words. Nothing in the research prepared me for this. The reports all said humans were dangerous, yes, but also highly emotional, prone to violence when threatened, and possessed of a survival instinct, so strong it bordered on psychotic. This human seemed mostly concerned about his schedule. Threx made a decision. I could tell by the way her posture straightened. Next, prepare a basic contact protocol. Threatening. I want information. Captain, is that wise? We do not know what he is capable of. Look at him, Threx said, gesturing at the viewing screen. He is not acting like a threat. He is acting like a lost cargo hauler, which according to him he is. Or he is a very good actor, I countered. The psychological profiles suggest humans are extremely adaptable. He could be lulling us into complacency. Then we stay alert, Threx said. But we also get answers. Open a direct line. I activated the two-way communication system, and suddenly the human could hear us as clearly as we could hear him. He sat up straighter, his expression brightening. Oh, excellent, he said. Two-way conversation. Much better. Hi there. I am Marcus Holt. Independent freight hauler licensed and bonded through the Terran Commerce Guild. Ship registration number TGC 7743M. Well, that was my ship's registration. It is currently scattered across about 3 square kilometers of moon surface, so I guess that registration is kind of moot now. I am Captain Threx, my superior said, her voice carefully modulated through the translator. This is my ship, the Luminous Prospect. You are currently in our high-security holding cell. Yeah, I kind of figured that part out, Marcus said, nodding. The energy walls and the dozen weapon emplacements gave it away. Good security, by the way. Very professional. Was he complimenting our prison cell? Marcus Holt, Threx continued. You are aware that your species is classified as extremely dangerous by the Galactic Council? Marcus blinked. What, really? We made it onto a dangerous species list? Wow, that is kind of flattering, actually. Did not think we had been spacefaring long enough to earn that kind of reputation. Your planet is a Class 12 Deathworld, I interjected, unable to help myself. It is considered one of the most hostile environments for life in the explored galaxy. Oh, you mean Earth? Marcus looked thoughtful. I mean, sure, it has got its rough patches. Australia can be a bit much, and the Amazon, and the deep ocean. And well, actually a lot of places, now that I think about it. But it is home, you know. You get used to it. You get used to it, Kel repeated, his voice hollow. He gets used to a Class 12 Deathworld. Marcus shrugged. I mean, what else are you going to do? Complain about the weather? Everyone does that anyway. Threx clicked rapidly, a sign of deep thought. Marcus Holt, how did you survive 3 days on the Kilos moon? Oh, that. Marcus gestured vaguely. Well, I found some caves on the 2nd day. Good shelter, you know. Kept me out of the weather when those storms rolled through. Those were pretty intense, by the way, lightning every few seconds. Made it hard to sleep. The Kilos storms generate electromagnetic pulses strong enough to disable most electronic equipment, I said. They are considered one of the primary hazards of the moon. Yeah, my emergency kit definitely did not like them, Marcus agreed. Lost my portable scanner to a surge. But I still had my knife, some emergency rations, and water filtration tablets. Basics, you know. Kept me going until I could jury-rig that beacon. You survived on basics, Threx said slowly. In an environment with toxic atmospheric particles, predatory fauna, and electrical storms. And the bird things, Marcus added. Do not forget the bird things. They were really persistent. Kept trying to dive bomb me whenever I left the caves. Pretty sure they were territorial, or maybe just angry. Hard to tell with birds. They are called Kilos shrikes, I supplied automatically. They are apex predators with a wingspan of 4 meters, equipped with talons capable of piercing most standard armor, and they hunt in packs. Yeah, sounds about right, Marcus said, nodding. Definitely glad I had the caves. One of them tried to follow me inside once, but the entrance was too small. I waited it out. He waited it out. He was trapped in a cave by a pack of flying predators, and he just waited them out. Marcus, Threx said, and I could hear the strain in her voice. Do you understand why we are concerned? I mean, I guess. Marcus scratched his head, looking genuinely confused. You do not know me. I am from a planet you think is dangerous, and I probably should have made contact through proper channels instead of just flagging down your survey team. I get it. First contact protocols and all that. But honestly, I am not here to cause trouble. I just need to get to a station so I can file the insurance claim and maybe find a ride back to Earth. Or at least to human space. Any human outpost would work, really. What do you do on Earth? I asked, genuinely curious now. When you are not crashing on moons. Freight hauling, like I said. Independent contractor. I move cargo between systems, take whatever jobs pay well enough to keep the ship running and put food on the table. Nothing fancy. It is a living, you know. Not glamorous, but it is mine. Living. He described traversing the void between stars, navigating hazards we could barely comprehend, as making a living. Not even a good living. Just a living. Are all humans like you? Kel asked suddenly, speaking up for the first time. Is this casualness about danger, is that normal for your species? Marcus considered the question seriously. I mean, I am probably pretty average, honestly. There are people way crazier than me back home. Extreme sports enthusiasts, deep-sea divers, people who climb mountains for fun. I am just a guy with a ship who took a wrong turn and had some bad luck. He is average, Kel said faintly. This is average for them. Marcus, Threx said, leaning forward. What do you know about the Galactic Coalition? Bits and pieces, Marcus admitted. Humanity has only been in contact for, 5 years now? Most of the information is still restricted or classified. I know there are multiple species, different political structures, trade agreements. Standard interstellar stuff, I assume. I have met a few aliens at trading posts. Everyone has been pretty friendly, actually. Well, except for those Drex merchants. They tried to scam me on fuel prices. But that is just business, right? He had met Drex and considered their aggressive negotiation tactics just business. The Drex were known for occasionally spacing people who offended them. Listen, Marcus said, standing up again and walking closer to the barrier. I appreciate you guys not just, ejecting me out an airlock or whatever. That is very civilized of you. But I really do need to figure out my next steps. If you are not comfortable letting me go, that is fine. I get it. But maybe you could at least point me in the right direction? Or let me send a message to someone who can come pick me up? The nearest human outpost is 14 days' travel from here, Threx said. Okay, so 2 weeks. That is not terrible. Do you have a long-range comm array I could use? I can pay for the usage. I have got credits. Galactic standard currency. Some Terran dollars too, if you prefer, though I am not sure what the exchange rate is out here. He was trying to pay us for communication privileges from inside our holding cell. The absolute absurdity of the situation was beginning to overwhelm my scientific training. This was not how first contact scenarios were supposed to go. There should be tension, drama, carefully negotiated exchanges through multiple layers of protocol. Not a human offering to pay for phone calls. We need to run tests, I said, feeling like I was grasping at some kind of normal procedure. Medical scans, biological assessments. We need to understand your physiology. Oh sure, yeah, totally, Marcus agreed immediately. Whatever you need. I am healthy, as far as I know. Had a physical about 6 months ago. Passed with flying colors. Well, mostly flying colors. Doc said I should eat more vegetables, but who has time for that when you are living on a ship? You will consent to examinations? Threx asked, surprised. Why not? You are being reasonable about this whole thing. Least I can do is cooperate. Just, no weird invasive stuff if you can help it. I am squeamish about needles. Ironic considering where I am from, but there it is. He is squeamish about needles, I said to no one in particular. The human from the Deathworld is squeamish about needles. Yeah, I know, it is embarrassing, Marcus said, apparently hearing me. My mom gives me endless grief about it. She is a paramedic. Deals with blood and injuries every day. Meanwhile, I see a syringe and I get all woozy. It is a whole thing. His mother was a paramedic. On Earth, where apparently dealing with blood and injuries was so common it was a standard career path. We will prepare a medical bay, Threx decided. Next, you will conduct the initial examination. Minimal staff. I want security protocols maintained, but let us try to keep this civil. Understood, Captain, I said, though my mind was already racing through everything I needed to prepare. Scanning equipment, sample collection tools, emergency medical supplies in case something went wrong. And the increasingly strange feeling that nothing was going to go wrong because the human was apparently just as confused and cooperative as we were nervous and paranoid. Thanks, Captain Threx, Marcus called out. Really, I appreciate this. You guys are being super professional about the whole accidentally capturing an alien thing. A lot better than I probably would be if the situation was reversed. You have been captured before? Kel asked, unable to help himself. What? No, I just mean hypothetically. If some random alien crashed near my ship and I had to deal with it, I would probably panic. You guys are handling this way better than I would. The human was complimenting us on our hostage management skills. I was going to need a drink after this shift. Maybe several drinks, Marcus, I said, activating my own comm link directly. I am Vex. I will be conducting your medical examination. It should take approximately 2 hours. We will need to perform scans, take samples, and assess any injuries you may have sustained. Cool. 2 hours. I can do 2 hours. Will there be food involved at any point? Because those emergency rations ran out yesterday and I am running on fumes here. Not picky. Whatever you guys eat is probably fine. I have got a pretty strong stomach. Of course he did. Of course the human from the Deathworld had a strong stomach. We will provide nutrition, Threx assured him. Standard protein supplements and vitamins, safe for most carbon-based species. Awesome. You guys are the best. Seriously, 5 stars. Would get captured again. As the security team began preparing to move Marcus to the medical bay, I found myself staring at the human with a mixture of scientific fascination and existential dread. Nothing about this was going according to any established protocol. He was too friendly, too casual, too utterly unconcerned about the fact that he was surrounded by aliens who could, theoretically, dissect him for science. And yet, something about his demeanor was disarming. He was not hiding anything, not playing games. He was exactly what he claimed to be, a freight hauler who had bad luck and needed help. The fact that he survived 3 days on a moon that would kill most of us in 3 hours was apparently just a minor inconvenience to him. Captain, I said quietly, watching Marcus stretch again and crack his knuckles in what appeared to be a nervous habit. What are we going to do with him? Threx was silent for a long moment, her eye stalks swiveling as she thought. I have no idea, Vex, she admitted finally. I truly have no idea. And that, I realized, was the most honest thing anyone had said since we brought the human aboard. The door to the holding cell opened, the energy barrier flickering off. Marcus stood, picked up a small bag that contained his few belongings, and walked toward the security team with a smile. Lead the way, he said cheerfully. Let us get this show on the road. As I watched him walk down the corridor, flanked by 4 heavily armed security officers who looked like they were escorting a live explosive device, I could not shake the feeling that everything we thought we knew about humans was about to be completely upended. And Marcus Holt, average human freight hauler, had absolutely no idea how much chaos he was about to cause. Lucky him. The medical bay had never felt so small. I stood at the main console, triple-checking every scanner, every probe, every single piece of equipment that might come within 3 meters of Marcus Holt. Behind me, Two medical assistants, Hella and Grix, were doing the same with their instruments. We had been preparing for 20 minutes, and I was still not sure we were ready. Marcus sat on the examination platform, legs dangling off the edge, looking around with that same curious expression he had worn in the holding cell. He had removed his torn jacket at my request, revealing a simple shirt underneath that had seen better days. The makeshift bandage on his arm was still in place. "So this is a medical bay," he said, nodding appreciatively. "Nice setup. Very clean. I like the blue lighting. Calming. Well, the lighting is calibrated for optimal visibility during surgical procedures," I replied automatically. "Oh, well, it is still nice." I picked up my scanning device, a handheld unit that could analyze biological signatures from a safe distance. My hands were shaking slightly. I hoped he did not notice. "I am going to begin with a basic bioscan," I explained, keeping my voice steady. "It will not hurt. You may feel a slight tingling sensation. No problem. Do your thing, Doc." Doc. He had just nicknamed me. We had known each other for less than 3 hours, and he had already given me a nickname. I activated the scanner and pointed it at his chest. The device hummed softly, and data began streaming across my display. I read the first few lines, frowned, and read them again. "Is something wrong?" Marcus asked, noticing my expression. "No, I just need to recalibrate. The readings seem incorrect." But they were not incorrect. I ran the scan 3 more times. Same results. His heart rate was 140 beats per minute. "Marcus," I said slowly, "are you feeling anxious right now? Stressed?" "Me? Nah, I am good. Little hungry, but otherwise fine." "Why? Why?" "Your cardiac rhythm is extremely elevated." "Oh, that." He waved a hand dismissively. "That is just normal for me. Human hearts beat pretty fast compared to most species, I think. Read that somewhere. We are kind of high-strung biologically speaking." 140 beats per minute was his resting heart rate. I made a note to review every single piece of literature on human physiology that existed. Clearly, I had missed something fundamental. The scan continued, revealing more data that made absolutely no sense. His body temperature was 37 degrees Celsius. That should have been causing cellular damage. His blood pressure was in ranges that would indicate severe stress in any species I had ever studied. And his bone density, oh goodness, his bone density was off the charts. "Your skeletal structure is incredibly dense," I said, unable to keep the amazement out of my voice. "This reading suggests your bones are significantly stronger than standard carbon-based templates." "Yeah, gravity and all that," Marcus said. "Earth has pretty heavy gravity. Our bones adapted to handle it. Makes us a bit more durable than some other folks." "A bit more durable." His bones could probably survive impacts that would shatter mine like glass, and he called it a bit more durable. "I need to take a blood sample," I said, reaching for the extraction syringe. Marcus visibly paled. "Oh, right. The needle thing. You said you were squeamish about needles," I recalled. "We can postpone this if necessary." No, it is fine. I am an adult. I can handle it." "Just maybe do not let me watch?" I prepared the syringe, a standard medical device that every species used for sample collection. Marcus turned his head away, closing his eyes. His jaw was clenched, and I could see tension in his shoulders. This, I realized, was the first genuine fear response I had seen from him. Not when faced with predatory aliens, not when locked in a holding cell, not when surrounded by weapons. But a simple medical needle made him nervous. The contradiction was baffling. I pressed the syringe against his arm, activating the extraction sequence. The device hummed, and I watched the collection vial begin to fill with red liquid. Human blood was red because of iron-based hemoglobin. I knew that much from the basic research. What I did not know was how it would react to standard analysis. "All done," I said, removing the device. Marcus opened his eyes, glancing at his arm where a small adhesive patch now covered the extraction point. Oh, that was not bad at all. Way better than the needles back home. Those things are huge. Their medical needles were bigger than this. I decided not to think about that too hard. I placed the blood sample into the analyzer and waited. The machine ran through its diagnostic protocols, checking for pathogens, toxins, genetic markers, and cellular health. The results appeared on my screen, and I had to read them twice to believe what I was seeing. "Marcus," I said carefully, "have you been exposed to any radioactive materials recently?" "What?" "No, why?" "Your blood contains unusually high concentrations of iron and other heavy metals. In most species, these levels would indicate severe poisoning." "Oh, that is just normal human stuff," Marcus explained. "We need iron for our blood cells, and the other metals are trace elements. Zinc, copper, things like that. Pretty standard for Earth biology." "Standard. Right, of course." Pella stepped forward with another device, this one designed to check muscular response and nerve function. "May I test your reflexes?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. "Sure thing." She tapped his knee with a small hammer, and his leg kicked out automatically. The force of the movement made her jump back. Sorry, Marcus said quickly. "Did not mean to startle you. Reflexes can be a little strong." A little strong. He had nearly kicked through the instrument tray. Grix approached next, holding a vision testing device. "Please look into this lens and tell me what you see." Marcus complied, peering into the device. Grix adjusted the settings, then adjusted them again, then made a confused clicking sound. "Is there a problem?" I asked. "His visual range is extraordinary," Grix reported. "He can perceive wavelengths from near ultraviolet all the way to near infrared. And his eye movement tracking suggests he can focus on objects at extreme distances while simultaneously monitoring peripheral movement." "Predator eyes," Marcus said cheerfully. "Humans are persistence hunters, remember? We needed good vision to track prey across long distances. Plus it helps with not getting eaten by things that wanted to hunt us, things that wanted to hunt them. On their own planet, where they were supposedly the dominant species. What hunted humans on Earth?" I asked, morbid curiosity getting the better of me. "Lots of stuff. Big cats, bears, crocodiles, sharks, venomous snakes, poisonous spiders, angry hippos. Hippos kill more people per year than almost any other large animal, actually. They are surprisingly aggressive." "Your planet has multiple apex predators," I said flatly. "Well, yeah. Biodiversity is pretty important for ecosystem health. You cannot just have one thing at the top of the food chain. That would be weird. Having multiple species capable of killing you was normal, but having just one apex predator was weird." I was beginning to understand why the Galactic Council had classified Earth as a Class 12 Deathworld. "Let me examine your injury," I said, gesturing to his bandaged arm. "May I remove the covering?" "Go for it." I carefully unwrapped the makeshift bandage, revealing a long gash that ran from his elbow to his wrist. It was deep, definitely should have required medical attention, but it was already showing signs of healing. The edges of the wound were clean, and new tissue was forming. "How long ago did this happen?" I asked. 2 days, maybe. Lost track of time on the moon. One of those bird things got me during an attack. Talons are sharp. 2 days. He had been slashed by a Kalos shrike 2 days ago, and the wound was already closing on its own. Human healing factor is accelerated compared to most species, I said, more to myself than to him. The literature mentioned this, but seeing it in person is remarkable. "We heal pretty fast, yeah," Marcus agreed. "Useful trait when you live on a death world. Get hurt a lot, need to bounce back quick. Evolution and stuff." I cleaned the wound with antiseptic solution, watching to see if he would react to the chemical. He barely flinched. I applied a proper medical sealant, one designed to promote cellular regeneration. though I suspected his body would manage fine without it. "You should keep this clean," I instructed. "Change the bandage daily." "Will do, Doc. Thanks." There was that nickname again. A soft chime indicated that the blood analysis was complete. I pulled up the full report and began reading through the data. Each line brought a new surprise, a new piece of information that challenged everything I thought I knew about biology. His white blood cell count was astronomical. His immune system was apparently in a constant state of high alert, ready to attack any foreign pathogen at a moment's notice. His red blood cells were packed with hemoglobin, allowing for incredibly efficient oxygen transport. And his platelet count suggested his blood could clot almost instantly when necessary. "Your immune system is remarkable," I told him. "It appears designed to fight off multiple simultaneous infections." "Yeah, Earth has a lot of diseases," Marcus said. "Bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites. You kind of need a strong immune system just to survive childhood. Most of us get vaccinated against the really bad stuff, but there is always something trying to make you sick. Always something trying to make you sick." He said it so casually, like it was just an accepted part of life. Captain Threx entered the medical bay at that moment, her eye stalks swiveling to take in the scene. "Report, Vex. The human appears to be in good health, Captain," I said. "Remarkably good health, considering his recent experiences. His physiology is consistent with the limited data we have on his species, though seeing it firsthand is rather overwhelming." "Overwhelming how?" "Every system in his body is optimized for survival in hostile conditions. His cardiovascular system, his immune response, his healing factor, his sensory capabilities. He is, essentially, a biological survival machine." "Hey, that is a pretty cool way to describe it," Marcus interjected. "Biological survival machine, I like that." Threx approached the examination platform, studying Marcus with her multiple eyes. "Marcus Holt, how common is space travel among humans?" "Pretty common now," Marcus replied. "We have had faster-than-light capability for about 10 years. There are maybe, I do not know, 50,000 humans working in space full-time. Traders, explorers, military personnel, scientists. It is still new for us, but we are expanding pretty quick." "And you consider yourself average among these spacefaring humans?" "Maybe a little below average, honestly. I did crash my ship, after all. Not exactly a point of pride. Below average, this insanely durable, frighteningly capable specimen considered himself below average. "What would an above-average human be capable of?" I asked, genuinely curious and slightly terrified of the answer. Marcus thought about it. "Well, there are the military folks, special forces types. They go through training that is pretty intense, survival skills, combat techniques, tactical operations. Those people are scary good at what they do. And then there are the scientists, the really smart ones who figure out all the tech and medicine. And the athletes, the people who push human physical capabilities to the limit. Olympic-level competitors and stuff. Your species has competitions based on physical prowess?" Threx asked. "Oh yeah, the Olympics. Every 4 years, people from all over Earth compete in different sports. Running, swimming, jumping, throwing things, lifting weights. It is a huge deal. Billions of people watch it, and these competitors are stronger than you. Way stronger. I am just a guy who moves boxes from one place to another. Those athletes train their whole lives to be the best at what they do. They can do things that seem impossible. Run faster than prey animals, lift several times their own body weight, swim across massive distances without stopping. It is impressive." The room had gone very quiet. Even the medical equipment seemed to have stopped humming. "You are telling us," Threx said slowly, "that there are humans significantly more capable than you?" "Well, yeah, lots of them. Why?" "Because," I thought, but did not say, "you survived 3 days on a moon that is classified as hazardous to advanced species. You walked away from a shuttle crash, your body is built like a piece of military hardware, and you are below average. What kind of terrifying Deathworld produces a species where this is below average. A notification appeared on my console. The full genetic analysis was complete. I opened the file and immediately wished I had not. "Captain," I said quietly, "you need to see this." Threx moved to my side, reading the genetic report. Her eye stalks retracted slightly, a sign of shock. "Is this accurate?" she asked. "I ran it 3 times. It is accurate." "What is it?" Marcus asked, looking between us. "Something wrong with my genes? Because I will be honest, my family has some weird medical history, but nothing too serious." "Your DNA contains redundant systems for critical functions," I explained. "Multiple backup mechanisms for organ failure, cellular repair, even brain function. It is as if your species evolved with the assumption that major body systems would regularly fail and need alternatives." "Oh, that. Yeah, humans are pretty good at not dying. We have 2 kidneys, 2 lungs, even though we can technically survive with just 1 of each, and our liver can regenerate if part of it gets damaged. Hearts, too, sometimes, with medical help. We are built with spare parts, basically built with spare parts." "Marcus," Threx said, her voice taking on a more serious tone, "I need to ask you some questions about Earth military capabilities." Okay. I mean, I am not military, so I do not know much classified stuff, but I can tell you what is public knowledge." How many humans are in your military forces? Active duty? Maybe 20 million across all branches? Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force? It is a volunteer military, so the numbers fluctuate. 20 million. Earth had 20 million trained soldiers. And how much combat experience does your species have? Marcus looked uncomfortable. "Well, we have got a pretty violent history. Lots of wars, conflicts, territorial disputes. We have been fighting each other for thousands of years, honestly. Only recently did we kind of get our act together and focus on space exploration instead. But yeah, humans know how to fight. We are depressingly good at it." "Have humans encountered hostile species in space?" I asked. "A few times. Mostly misunderstandings that got resolved diplomatically. But there was that incident with the pirates near the Outer Rim. Human security forces dealt with them pretty quickly. I heard it was over in less than 6 hours." "What kind of pirates?" Threx pressed. "Drex marauders, I think. They tried to raid a human supply convoy. Bad idea. Really bad idea. Humans do not take kindly to people threatening civilians. The Drex marauders were infamous across the galaxy. Brutal, efficient, and nearly impossible to defeat in ship-to-ship combat. And humans had neutralized them in 6 hours. I was beginning to suspect that the Galactic Council had severely underestimated Earth." "Listen," Marcus said, shifting on the examination platform. "I appreciate all the questions and the medical checkup, but I am really, really hungry. Like, seriously hungry. Did not eat yesterday, barely ate the day before. Is there any chance I could get some food? Please?" Threx nodded to Pela. "Bring standard rations. High protein, moderate carbohydrate. See what he can tolerate." Pela hurried off, returning a few minutes later with a tray containing several nutrition bars, a sealed container of processed protein, and a flask of electrolyte solution. She placed it on the platform next to Marcus. "Thank you so much," he said, grabbing one of the nutrition bars and ripping open the package. He took a bite, chewed for a moment, then made a face. "Okay, this tastes like cardboard, but I will take it." He ate 4 nutrition bars in rapid succession, drank half the electrolyte solution, and consumed all of the protein. The amount of food would have sustained most species for a full day. He had eaten it in 5 minutes. "Better?" I asked. "Much better." "Man, I needed that. Low blood sugar makes everything worse." Low blood sugar. His body required constant fuel to maintain its frightening level of function. "Marcus," Threx said, making a decision I could see forming in her posture, "we are going to take you to the nearest Coalition station. It is 4 days' travel from here. We will provide quarters, food, and you will have limited access to communication systems. In exchange, I need you to answer more questions about your species, honestly and completely." "Deal," Marcus said immediately, offering his hand. "Absolutely, happy to help, and thank you, seriously, you guys are saving my life here." Trex looked at his extended hand with confusion. I leaned over and whispered, "Human greeting gesture, physical contact. It is called a handshake." Trex carefully extended one of her 4 hands and grasped Marcus's. He shook it gently, smiling, "Pleasure doing business with you, Captain." Over the next 4 days, Marcus Holt became simultaneously the most fascinating and terrifying subject I had ever studied. He was placed in guest quarters rather than the holding cell, a decision that made several crew members nervous. But he showed no signs of aggression, no indication that he was anything other than what he claimed to be, a freight hauler who wanted to go home tired. I conducted daily examinations, each one revealing new aspects of human biology that challenged my understanding. His sleep cycle was erratic, only requiring about 6 hours of rest per night. His dietary needs were omnivorous in the extreme, able to digest almost anything organic, and his adaptability to the ship's environment was remarkable. He spent time in the common areas, talking with crew members who overcame their initial fear. He told stories about Earth, about the diverse cultures and environments, about human history and their rapid expansion into space. Some of the stories seemed exaggerated, but every bioscan confirmed he was telling the truth. He talked about oceans that covered 70% of his planet's surface, deserts with temperatures that would melt most metals, mountains so high that the air was too thin to breathe, forests so dense that sunlight barely reached the ground, and humans lived in all of it. On the 3rd day, a junior engineer named Trix made the mistake of challenging Marcus to a strength competition. She was Krell, like Captain Threx, and Krell were known for their physical power. Forearms, dense musculature, evolved for heavy labor. Marcus, with his 2 arms and relatively slim build, lifted twice what Trix could manage. He did it without straining, without even breathing hard. Then he apologized for showing off. The crew started giving him more space after that. I found him one evening in the observation deck, staring out at the stars. I approached carefully, unsure if I was intruding. "Beautiful, is it not?" I said. "Yeah," Marcus replied, his voice soft. "I have been traveling through space for 3 years now, and it never gets old. All those stars, all those worlds. Makes you feel small, you know? In a good way. Do you miss Earth?" "Every day. But I also love this. The adventure, the freedom, meeting new people. Even getting captured and held in a super-secure cell has been pretty interesting. No offense, none taken," I assured him. "Marcus, can I ask you something personal?" "Sure, Doc. Shoot." "Are you afraid? Of us? Of the situation? Of anything?" He was quiet for a moment, considering the question. "Honestly, a little. I would be stupid not to be at least a bit scared. I am surrounded by aliens who could kill me without much effort, on a ship I do not understand, heading somewhere I have never been. But you all have been good to me, treated me with respect, given me food and shelter. That counts for a lot." "We were terrified when we captured you," I admitted. "We still are, to some extent." "Of me?" He sounded genuinely surprised. "Why?" "Because you are dangerous, Marcus. Your species is dangerous. Every biological system in your body is optimized for survival. You come from a world that would kill most of us in hours. And you are just an average human." He laughed, that same strange rhythmic sound. "Doc, I am the least dangerous human I know. My mom is scarier than me, and she is 60 years old. If you think I am terrifying, you should meet an actual soldier, or a professional athlete, or honestly any human who has something to protect. We are pretty harmless until you threaten something we care about. Then we get creative." "Creative how?" "Well, we are persistence hunters, right? We do not give up. Ever. If you make a human angry enough, scared enough, or desperate enough, they will find a way to win. Might take days, might take years, but they will find a way. It is kind of our thing. The idea should have been reassuring. It was not. The Galactic Council is going to want to meet more humans, I said. Official first contact, diplomatic relations, all of that. That would be cool. We are pretty friendly, generally. Just, maybe do not start by capturing them and putting them in cells. That is not the best first impression. Noted. We stood in silence for a while, watching the stars drift past. Then Marcus spoke again. Can I tell you something weird? Please do. I think this whole experience, as strange as it has been, is going to make a great story when I get home. My friends are never going to believe I got captured by aliens and they fed me cardboard nutrition bars. They were not cardboard, I protested. They were synthesized protein compounds designed for optimal nutritional balance. Yeah, but they tasted like cardboard. He had a point. The fourth day arrived faster than I expected. We dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Coalition Station 7, a massive structure that served as a trading hub for this sector. It was here that we would hand Marcus over to the authorities, who would arrange transport back to human space. Captain Threx called me to the bridge as we began docking procedures. Marcus was there too, looking out at the station with wide eyes. "The thing is huge," he said. "How many people live there?" "Approximately 2 million beings from 40 different species," Threx replied. "It is one of the largest coalition installations. 2 million. Wow. Okay. That is a lot of aliens." "Marcus," Threx said, turning to face him fully. "Before we dock, I need to tell you something." "Okay, what is up?" "We have filed a report with the coalition authorities about your capture and subsequent time aboard our ship. We have also included our findings about human biology and capabilities. This report will be forwarded to the Galactic Council." "This fine. Expected, really. Is there a problem?" "The Council is going to be very interested in humanity. Your species represents a significant unknown in galactic politics. Earth's classification as a death world, combined with human capabilities, makes you potentially valuable as allies or dangerous as enemies." Marcus nodded slowly. "So what you are saying is that humanity is about to get a lot of attention we probably are not ready for." "Yes, great. That is just great. I crash on a moon, get captured, and accidentally become a galactic incident. My mom is going to kill me." "Your mother is more frightening than this situation?" I asked, confused. "Doc, you have no idea. She did not raise her son to be a galactic incident. There are going to be phone calls. Disappointed phone calls." The docking procedures completed, and the airlocks cycled open. A coalition security team stood on the other side, along with a diplomatic envoy who looked extremely nervous. "Marcus Holt?" the envoy asked, checking a datapad. "It's me. We have been instructed to escort you to the Human Liaison Office. They have been notified of your situation and have arranged transport back to Earth space." "Awesome. Thanks." Marcus turned back to us, smiled that distinctly human smile, and offered his hand to Captain Threx again. She took it without hesitation this time. "Thank you for not spacing me," he said, "and for the terrible food, and for being decent people, or aliens, or whatever. This was weird, but good weird, if that makes sense." "It does," Threx said. "Safe travels, Marcus Holt." He shook my hand next. "Thanks for not dissecting me, Doc. Appreciate it." "The thought never crossed my mind," I lied. "Sure it did not." He winked, another bizarre human gesture. "Take care of yourselves, and if you ever need a freight hauler, look me up. I will give you a discount for the whole not killing me thing." And then he was gone, walking down the corridor with the security team, waving once before disappearing around a corner. The bridge was silent for a long moment. "So," Kel said finally, speaking for the first time in hours. "That was a human?" "That was an average human," I corrected. "Average? We need to update the Deathworld protocols," Threx said quietly. Everything we thought we knew was wrong. Humans are not just dangerous because of their world. They are dangerous because they do not realize they are dangerous. Marcus knew, I said. He knew we were scared. He just did not care because fear was not a good enough reason to be unkind. What does that say about his species? That we should probably be very, very nice to them. 6 months later, I received a message on a coalition comm channel. It was audio only, but I recognized the voice immediately. "Hey Doc, Marcus here. Just wanted to let you know I made it home safe, got a new ship past my insurance claim, and I am back to hauling cargo. Oh, and I told my mom about the whole getting captured thing. She says to tell you thank you for taking care of me. Also, she wants me to invite you to Earth if you are ever in the neighborhood. Says she makes great food and would love to meet the aliens who did not dissect her son. Anyway, thanks again. Stay safe out there." The message ended, but I listened to it 3 more times. Humans were terrifying, yes, but they were also kind, funny, resilient, and apparently came with mothers who made good food. The Galactic Council met 2 weeks later to discuss the human question. I was asked to provide testimony about my findings. I told them everything: the biological capabilities, the Deathworld origins, the military potential, all of it. Then I told them about Marcus offering to pay for comm usage from inside our holding cell, about him being squeamish about needles, about him worrying that his mom would be disappointed in him for becoming a galactic incident. "What is your recommendation?" the council head asked me. "Make friends with them," I said. "Make very good friends with them. Because a species that can survive what they survive and still be kind is either the best ally we could ever have or the worst enemy we could ever face. And I would very much prefer the first option." The motion passed unanimously. Humanity was welcomed into the Galactic Coalition 3 months later. There were ceremonies, speeches, diplomatic exchanges. It was all very official and proper. I heard through unofficial channels that Marcus Holt was offered a position as an ambassador. He turned it down, saying he preferred hauling freight, something about liking the freedom of the open space lanes. Typical human, save the galaxy by accident, turn down a prestigious position, and go back to moving boxes. I never saw Marcus again in person, though his reputation grew as more humans entered Coalition space. Every single one of them had that same strange combination of capability and casualness that Marcus had displayed. They were good at everything, apparently did not realize it, and were unfailingly polite, even when circumstances suggested they should be terrified. The Drex pirate guilds folded within a year of humans entering the space lanes. Turns out even they knew when to quit. War with the Croth Collective, which had been brewing for a decade, evaporated when human diplomats sat down at the negotiation table. Something about the way humans smiled while discussing military capabilities made even the Croth nervous. And the Deathworld protocols? Completely rewritten. Now they included a section specifically about humans. Approach with caution, but more importantly, approach with courtesy. They will be polite back. Probably. Unless you threaten something they care about, then run. I retired from field research 2 years later, taking a position teaching xenobiology at the Coalition Academy. My lectures on human biology are always packed, standing room only. Everyone wants to understand the species from Earth. I start every semester the same way, with the story of Marcus Holt, average human, who crashed on a death moon, got captured by aliens, and asked for directions home. The students laugh, nervously at first, then with genuine amusement. Then I show them the biological scans, the genetic data, the footage of him lifting twice what a Krell could manage. The laughter stops. Then I tell them about his mother, who wanted to feed us and thank us for not dissecting her son. And that, more than anything else, is what helps them understand humanity. They are monsters by any biological standard, apex predators wrapped in soft skin and friendly smiles. But they are also kind, compassionate, and genuinely confused about why everyone else finds them terrifying. "So what do we do about humans?" a student asked me last semester. I gave them the same answer I gave the Galactic Council. Make friends. Very good friends. And if one of them ever offers to help you, say yes. Because humans do not give up on their friends. Ever. The student nodded, making notes. Professor Vex, another student asked, "Did you stay friends with Marcus Holt?" Smiled, thinking of the yearly messages I received, usually starting with some variation of "Hey Doc," and ending with his mother's standing invitation to visit Earth. "Yes," I said, "we did. Are you scared of him?" Still, I considered the question carefully. Yes and no. I am scared of what humans are capable of, but I am not scared of Marcus. He is a good person. They mostly all are, and that is what makes them truly special. They could conquer the galaxy if they wanted to. They have the capability, but they would rather haul freight, explore new worlds, and invite you over for dinner? That is terrifying, the student said. Yes, I agreed. But it is also wonderful, and that, in the end, was humanity in a nutshell. Terrifying and wonderful, dangerous and kind, capable of surviving anything, and still asking if you need directions. I never did take Marcus's mother up on that dinner invitation. Maybe someday I will, if I am ever brave enough to visit Earth. Though knowing humans, they will probably just serve me cardboard-tasting nutrition bars and expect me to laugh about it. And I probably will.